Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Puri Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudhi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This morning we were speaking about Indra's problem. Indra had the Ishamana problem, and he thought he was the controller. We explained this morning that it's not that Indra is anti-Krishna. It's just that he couldn't believe a little blue boy in Vrindavan was the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, he became very angry when his position was minimized. His puja was stopped. Again and again, he said, Krishnam Marjam Upasritjam. The Brijvasis had taken shelter of an ordinary person named Krishna. Twice he said that, 2 Bhagavatam verses. He couldn't get it out of his mind. This Krishna is ordinary. Not that I'm against the Supreme Personality of God, but this little blue boy in Vrindavan is ordinary. He's Vachalam, talkative. He's Balisha. He's childish, agya, ignorant. He's not aware of how the universe functions. In other words, he doesn't understand that I am Indra. I am in charge. So, we spoke this morning about Krishna's racing out of his house to lift Govardhana Hill. How because he is the Supreme Personality of God, even though the rain is coming down as thick as pillars, Krishna doesn't get wet. His clothes don't get wet. His turban doesn't get wet. Because the branch of Yogamaya, the potency of Yogamaya, sub-potency, Sanghariki, arranged that no water falls on Krishna as he races from his house to Govardhana Hill. Let us begin now, after Krishna has lifted the hill, because the hill is feeling the touch of Krishna's hand. It manifests ecstatic symptoms. Normally, the base is a couple of miles in diameter. But because of the touch of Krishna, the base of Govardhana expanded to 32 miles. And because of the touch of Krishna's hand, the hill did not experience any pain receiving the thunderbolts of Indra. Krishna held Govardhana Hill so high into the air that the peak of Govardhana went past the clouds. Therefore, the wild animals like the deer and pigs and the birds went to the peak of Govardhana. And they were also protected, just like the Brijvasis were protected underneath the hill. Because the peak of Govardhana was beyond the rain clouds, beyond even the fierce Samvartika clouds, the clouds of cosmic annihilation sent by Indra. When Indra saw his plans were foiled, he came to his senses, and he stopped the storms. At that time, in Giri Govardhan, Lord Sri Krishna slowly put the hill in its place. After the cowherd men and cowherd women and their carts and their cows had gone back. Then a joyous celebration of praying exploded in Vrindavan. Superiors, equals, and juniors in relation to Krishna all poured out their ecstasy according to their position. the superiors, the elders, they embraced Krishna, smelling his head, giving blessings upon him, because they're superior, so they give blessings. Some of them massaged Krishna's left hand. Some even cracked the joints on his left hand, because after all, he held that hill for 7 days. Equals laughed and joked with Krishna, the fellow cowherd boys. Juniors, the younger cowherd boys, paid their obeisances and massaged Krishna's feet. The demigods in the heavens are glorifying this wonderful event. It becomes a pan-cosmic happening. Everyone is glorifying. The gopis also, the young gopi girls, they feel confident because everyone in Braj is glorifying Krishna for lifting Govardhana hill. We can publicly glorify Krishna without exposing our confidentiality. Normally, they would not glorify Krishna so outwardly because, after all, they're chaste young girls. But because the whole village is glorifying Krishna, the gopis took an opportunity to publicly pour forth their glorification, besides privately making glances at Krishna. That's always going on in the town. So in this way, the lifting of Govardhana hill becomes a mega event. Now, what happened afterwards? You see, while the hill was being lifted, the residents of Vrindavan were staring at Krishna with wide open eyes, just drinking his beauty. And Krishna was also staring at the residents of Vrindavan, soaking up their love. The Bhagavatam explains that the Brijvasis felt no hunger or thirst being under the hill for 7 days because they're just staring at Krishna. And Krishna, he also didn't think about taking his prasad from Mother Yashoda. Everyone is just staring at each other in the exchange of love between the Supreme Personality of God and his devotees. But after the hill was in place and life in Braj began to go on as normal, the cowherd men, the elder cowherd men, they began to ruminate and even metaphysically speculate in a Brijvasi way. Hey, look, now, we have seen Krishna lift Govardhana hill. He's done extraordinary things before, but this lifting of a hill by a 7-year-old boy is very, very extraordinary. He must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Previously, we thought that he was a nice boy who had achieved the mercy of Narayan. His father has very powerful blessings, and so therefore he could do extraordinary things. But now we have seen him lift Govardhana hill. No human being can do that. He must be the Supreme Lord. But then they went to the other side. However, when little Krishna doesn't get attention, he cries. Furthermore, he steals butter. He appears to be hungry and thirsty. And he herds cows. So if he is the Supreme Lord, why would he do such things? Don't these kind of things indicate a human child? But at the same time, he lifted Govardhana hill. That indicates the Supreme Lord. In this way, they just thought themselves in circles. What's the solution in Vrindavan? Let us approach Nanda Maharaj. He will clear the situation. So they went to Nanda Maharaj's big assembly hall. And there, they presented their doubt. How could such a wonderful boy, who seems to be the Supreme Lord, take birth in such a contemptible way amongst, in other words, he's living amongst us, mere cowherd boys and men, who are so immersed in worldly affairs. Just see how the rich Vasi describe themselves. We're just immersed in worldly affairs of herding cows and like that. How could the Supreme Lord take birth amongst us? Please, Nanda Maharaj. We have seen this boy lift Govardhana hill. Then they recited the whole past of Krishna's wonderful activities. Puja. He killed Puja when he was a little baby. He practically hadn't even opened his eyes yet. And he killed Puja. Then Shakatasura, the cart demon, he killed him. Devamrta, they went down the whole list. Bakasura, Pralamba, Dhenukasura. And it all culminated with the lifting of Govardhana hill. So, Nanda Maharaj responded to their doubts. Nanda Maharaj explained, let us recall what Garga Muni said. And then Nanda Maharaj recited the same verses that are there early in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam at the Namakarana ceremony, the name-giving ceremony of Krishna that Garga Muni performed in the cowshed, so Kamsa wouldn't hear of it. He recited several verses. Shukla Ruptas Tatapita Idanim Krishna Tamrita. This child has been white, he's been red, he's been yellow, and now he is blackish. Nanda Maharaj gave his conclusion. Garga Muni told me this child was like Narayana Sama, like Narayana. That's my final consideration. He's like Narayan, he's got power from Narayan, he's some kind of partial expansion of Narayan. But please continue to give him your blessings. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Nanda Maharaj didn't want the cowherd men to think Krishna is God. You see, for a while, under the influence of Yogamaya, the cowherd men were speculating. Could he be the Supreme Lord? He must be the Supreme Lord. No, he can't be. After all, he's a child, he does childish things, he steals butter, he cries, he gets hungry. But then again, he did this, he lifted Govardhana hill, he did that, he knocked down the Yama arjun trees. So Nanda Maharaj didn't want the cowherd men to think Krishna's God. Because Nanda Maharaj is thinking, if they think he's God, which I know is not true because he's my son, they won't give him blessings anymore. And I want my son to have all the blessings of the elders in Vrindavan. So therefore, he made his whole presentation. Yes, Garga Muni told me he's not ordinary. Garga Muni told me he would be like this, he'd be like that. So, please understand, he's special. He's not don't accept him as an ordinary human being. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, Nanda Maharaj said, don't also accept him as God. You got to find something in between here. And meanwhile, go on with your blessings. Go on with your eternal affection for our Krishna. So, the cowherd men's minds were relieved of all doubt. Yes, Nanda Maharaj, you have spoken nicely. That is the point. Yes, he's not God, and he's not an ordinary child. He's our Krishna. But they had a very important question. They said, there's one thing we noticed. Our attraction for this boy is always increasing. Furthermore, we see that his attraction for us is always increasing. We have anurag, loving affection for him. that gets newer and newer every moment. And his reciprocation with us is newer and newer at every moment. What's happening? By Nanda Maharaj's explanation, they can resolve that. Yes, some or other, this child is our everything. Of course, theologically speaking, Krishna is the all-attractive. But the cowherd men are not thinking he's God. They were pacified by Nanda Maharaj's explanation that he's special by the grace of Narayan and he's our everything. They thought, normally one's body is more dear than one's wealth and one's children. Your own body is more dear to you. And more dear to you than your own body is the soul. And more dear to you than your soul is Paramatma, the super soul. So, they thought, because Krishna is so dear to us, he must be the super soul, because he's dearer to us than our own life, our own soul. But if he's the super soul, how can that be? The super soul is neutral and indifferent, whereas Krishna is always reciprocating with us increasingly. This is the ultimate hang-up that the cowherd men had. What about this praying? What about this anurag? What's going on here? Why does our love for Krishna get newer and newer at every moment? Now, Nanda Maharaj is expert at stirring the sadhu sangha, the association of devotees. So, he's careful not to say, my son. Instead, he says, this boy, Krishna, because he wants the cowherd men to feel paternal affection for Krishna. The cowherd men had confessed, we have more affection for him than our own children. So Nanda Maharaj refers to Krishna as this boy. So all the Brijvasis could have their hearts melt with the Vatsalya brain. These are the ways of Vrindavan. Then it's time for Indra to sort out his problem. He was conscious he made a great mistake. He was so conscious of that first he went to Brahma and he presented to Brahma, what am I going to do? What to do? And Brahma told him, you have to go approach Krishna and beg forgiveness. He brought a Sarabi cow with him. The Sarabi cow gave some advice to Indra. Approach Krishna without your carrier, without Airavata. Just be very humble. So, Krishna knew Indra is coming to beg forgiveness. So Krishna is walking around Govardhana Hill alone, making an inspection of Govardhana. Why? Krishna wanted to see how much damage Indra's thunderbolts had done upon Govardhana Hill. So he's walking, looking at Govardhana Hill, purposely arranging to be in a solitary place when Indra comes. Why? The Lord is so sensitive. He doesn't want to publicly crush Indra. He's just doing some surgery on Indra's ego. He knows Indra's a big man. You don't chastise him in public. Many of Srila Prabhupada's servants tell how if a leader made a mistake, Prabhupada would not chastise him in public. He would take him into the room, solitary, and then chastise him. This is sensitivity. But Krishna is sensitive towards his devotee. Indra is a devotee. Krishna did not want to crush him, but to correct him. So, Krishna is waiting in a solitary place, now called Govardhana. Knowing Indra is going to approach, and Indra comes and falls down at Krishna's feet with his golden crown and offers his prayers. We can make an analysis of these prayers, but the night is getting late. And we had even more nectar to hear. So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Canto 10, chapter 21 of Bhagavad Gita. There's one verse glorifying Govardhana. Quite famous. Text number 18. The verse This verse, we're going to say it today. This verse emanated from the lips of Radharani. In Jagannath Goswami's Govardhana, the 8 prayers glorifying Govardhana Hill. One of those prayers is, in that verse, he is glorifying Radharani for saying this verse. Haridashavaya. This verse came from the lips of Radharani. So this is from chapter 21. Chapter 21, Canto 10 of Bhagavad Gita. It is called Venugit. Displays the mood of separation that the residents of Vrindavan have for Krishna. Every single verse, 20 verses, each one is a display of intense separation of Vipralambha that the residents of Vrindavan have for Lord Krishna. Shri Radharani. So please repeat, Antayam, Angira, Abala, Haridashavayo, Yad, Rama Krishna Charana, Sparasha, Pramoda, Manam, Tanuki, Saha, Go, Ganayas, Toyoyat, Kanya, Sivasa, Kanda Mule, Antayama Jivara Dashavayo, Yaga Krishna Chana Prasa Pramoda, Anantanoti Sagokana Shatayaya, Kanya Sivasa Kanda Mule. Of all the devotees, this Govardhana hill is the best. O my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram, along with their cows, and cowherd friends, with all kinds of necessities: water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respects to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, Govardhana hill appears very jubilant. Repeat. Of all the devotees, this Govardhana hill is the best. Oh my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram, along with their calves, cows and cowhead friends, with all kinds of necessities, water for drinking, very soft grass, hay, fruits, flowers and vegetables. In this way the hill offers respects to the Lord, and being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. Govardhana hill is very jubilant. So this is the standard verse actually glorifying Govardhana hill. Hanta abalya harita shivayo. The word hanta means oh. So who is speaking? Here it is not mentioned that it is Radharani, but the Acharyas have said it is. And I've also explained that verse by Jagannath Swami in Govardhana explains, confirms also. In chapter 21 she spoke text number 9 and text number 18. So, oh, she is saying in a mood of lamentation. She is lamenting. One can say this oh in a joyful mood or in a sorrowful mood. So this is in a sorrowful mood. And then also the word hanta abala. Abala. Bala means what? Balaram. Strength. You put the word A in front of Bala, it becomes very weak. So she is describing herself in a sorrowful way as being very weak. So why is this? Because this is an example of envy. Envy exists in the spiritual world. It's a sanchari bhav. Radharani and the gopis in their unmat, in their spiritual madness of wanting to be with Krishna, they imagine that Krishna is enjoying with all these other objects and people, like his flute. He enjoys his flute. A cloud above him is providing shelter and small particles of water when it gets hot. They imagine in their madness that the flute is conscious and it's a living entity and it is touching Krishna's lips. So they actually want to be with Krishna. And they're imagining that everyone else is with Krishna, but they're not. So in their madness, they're also glorifying Govardhana hill. And they're saying, Govardhana hill, you are the best of all devotees. And we are very unfortunate, because we can't get anywhere near Krishna. Krishna walks on Govardhana hill. Not just Krishna, Balaram, the cowherd boys, the cows, the Lord's paraphernalia. So when Krishna walks on Govardhana hill is pramoda. Pramoda means filled jubilation. But we can't achieve that type of intimacy. So this is the nature of the Mahabhagavata, or in this case, the Mahabhagavats. That they always think that they're not serving Krishna, that they have no devotion, and they see other people having lots of devotion. This is the qualification of the Uttama Bhagavata. Qualification of the Uttama Bhagavat Mahatmana. He sees all living entities serving Krishna, but he or she himself thinks I am not serving Krishna at all. I have not even one iota of devotion to Krishna. So the residents of Vrindavan, particularly the gopis, this is chapter 21, the gopis are actually glorifying Govardhana. Hanta Devara Haridashavaryo. Haridashavaryo means the best devotee of Krishna. In the Vedic scriptures, 3 people have been given this name, Haridashavaryo. Yudhishthira Maharaj, Uddhava, and Govardhana. So The Vedic scriptures give that name to Yudhishthira Maharaj. When Yudhishthira Maharaj was organizing the Rajasura sacrifice, and many great saints came to him, including Narada Muni. And Narada Muni spoke this verse, Haridashvaya, you are the best devotee of Krishna. Why? Because you have Krishna under your control. Krishna acts as your menial servant, as your friend, and in the Rajasura sacrifice, he's even washing the feet of the dignitaries that visit. So Maharaj Yudhishthira is definitely Haridashvaya. But Uddhava is also Haridashvaya, and he's of a higher quality, a higher category. Uddhava came to Vrindavan, so immediately he's on a more elevated platform. He was allowed entrance into Vrindavan, and he went as Krishna Pratinidhi, that means representative. He went as a messenger to Krishna, and he pacified the residents of Vrindavan, Nanda Maharaj, Mother Yasoda. So he's also Haridashvaya, definitely, and he's of a higher category. The third one, Govardhana Hill, lives in Govardhana. So all three, he is the number one. He is the best Haridashvaya. He is the best servant of Krishna. So how does Govardhana Hill serve Krishna? It's mentioned here. Providing water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. So it is described that Radha Kund and Shyama Kund are the teardrops of Govardhana Hill, as like Manasi Ganga and Govinda Kund and Amsara Kund, etc. So Govardhana Hill provides these beautiful kunds and caves also for pastimes that the cowherd boys have with Krishna, and also Govardhana Hill supplies these caves for the conjugal relationships that the gopis have with Krishna. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur has clearly said that Govardhana Hill is in Sakya Rasa with Krishna. Govardhana Hill is a friend of Krishna's. He's in Sakya. He's in friendship. Of course, there's different types of friendship also. As also the other hills and mountains are also in friendship. And most of the animals are in Dasya Rasa. Not all. The cows that give milk are in Dasya Rasa, obviously. So, also during the winter, when it's a little cold, Govardhana Hill appears warm. So when Krishna treads on Govardhana Hill with his bare feet, because he doesn't wear shoes in Vrindavan. It's only in Dwarka he wears shoes. Then Govardhana Hill appears warm. And then when it's hot, just like today was hot, I took my thermometer out and I measured it was 44 degrees centigrade in the sun. 37 in the shade. So Govardhana Hill, it's in the Guinness Book of Records for the hottest habitable place, the hottest place where people live. It was in the Guinness Book of Records. One time Keshava Bharati Maharaj, who lives at Govardhana Hill, he told me it was 56 centigrade. So when it's hot, Govardhana Hill appears very cool and gives Krishna some cooling breezes. And the earth, the mud, is also cool. And then in monsoon, when it rains, Govardhana Hill would apparently become a little muddy. But again, Govardhana Hill appears firm to give Krishna so he doesn't slip when performing his pastimes. So Govardhana Hill can be worshipped as Haridas or Haridev. Haridas, servant of Krishna, or Haridev means God himself. So some devotees worship as Haridev, God himself. Some worship as Haridas. There are many different ways to worship Govardhana Hill. For instance, Raghunath Das Goswami was given the Govardhana Shila by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, together with a small necklace of Gunyamala. This is in Gauranga Stavaka Pariksha by Raghunath Das Goswami. So how did Raghunath Das Goswami worship Govardhana Hill? Was Hari Das or Hari Dev? He worshipped in his third way, as Takiya, paraphernalia of the Lord. Just like King Pratiparuta worshipped the outer garments given to him by Lord Chaitanya as Takiya or paraphernalia of the Lord. And the gopis also, they're worshipping Govardhana Hill. But they're praying to become like Govardhana Hill. Just like they pray to become like the bamboos growing on the shore of the river Jamuna, so they can also one day, hopefully, become a bamboo or ultimately become a flute that is placed at Krishna's lips. So that's the fourth way of worshipping Govardhana Hill. So these first two ways, Hari Dev and Hari Das, I'll just briefly explain the logic behind these two, is that generally it's understood to worship as Hari Das is superior than to worship as Hari Dev. And what is the logic behind that? It's very simple. There are three categories of our practice of bhakti, or three stages. Sambandhana, Abhideya, and Priyojana. Sambandhana means establish a relationship with Maya, Guru, Krishna, etc. Abhideya means to work in that relationship. That means the practice of devotion. And Priyojana Tattva means what? What is Priyojana for us? Puri Vaishnavas. Krishna praying. Our Priyojana is not to go back to Godhead. It is simply to develop Krishna praying. So we want Krishna praying, which means love of Krishna. So we can only get that from someone who has it. So if you approach Krishna, does Krishna have Krishna praying? Doesn't seem to make sense. Lord Chaitanya would have it, but the devotees have it to the fullest extent. So if you want Krishna praying, which is actually our goal, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, it is recommended we approach the devotee of the Lord, not the devotee. And if you are confused about this and you end up worshipping Krishna, Krishna will kindly give you the association with devotees. And at some point the penny will drop and you will begin to understand. Therefore the worship of Krishna's devotees is superior. So he has many different categories of devotees in Vaikuntha, in Ayodhya, Dwarka, and in Goloka Vrindavan. And in Goloka Vrindavan, the highest category of devotees are the gopis, or Govardhana Hill in this case. So we approach Govardhana Hill as a devotee, as Hari Das, and we pray with folded hands, my dear Govardhana, please allow me to reside in your shade. Please allow me to reside near you. This is Raghunath Das Goswami's prayer. And let me see what you are seeing. Let me experience what you are experiencing. What is Govardhana seeing? The pastimes of Krishna. Cowboy boy pastimes in particular, and also his pastimes of the gopis. So we pray. You'll find that our Acharya, Rupa Goswami, spent time in Govardhana Hill. Sanatana Goswami spent time at Radhakund, Govardhana Hill, Manasi Ganga. All of our acharyas have spent time there. And even if it was Srila Prabhupada's aspiration, just before he left his body, that he could be taken to Govardhana Hill, he decided to go on some parikrama of Govardhana Hill before he left his body. But at that time, his health was too fragile and it wasn't possible. So Govardhana Hill is very special for us, Gaudiya Vaishnavas. In Vrindavan, there are two very merciful personalities. One is the river Jamuna and one is Govardhana. And as the Kali Yuga increases, these two will disappear. Jamuna will disappear, and it is said that Govardhana Hill is shrinking every day, the size of a mustard seed. So, before it disappears, we should go there and take darshan. Right now in India, in Govardhana Hill, on this particular day, there would be possibly 200,000 pilgrims walking around Govardhana Hill. Many will choose to walk at night because it's cooler. So Govardhana Hill and the worship of Govardhana Hill plays a very important part in in our practice of bhakti. Raghunath Das Goswami is the Prayojan Acharya, and he resided at the top of Govardhana Hill, Radhakund, for 45 years. And these are the people we have to follow in the footsteps of. So today is a very important day. So what should our prayer be? My dear Govardhana, please give me shelter. Please allow me to stay in the shade of your mountain. Either within the mind, Tistambraja, or physically. Physically or within the mind. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Govardhana Guru ki
Jai.
Govardhana.
Hari Hari Bol.